We're all like zombies these days. I don't know how to process this. I'm not seeing a therapist or anyone right now. I've confided in a few people, but don't really have a really close confidant. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, we're doing part 2 to the story about the guy who discovered after 33 years of marriage that his wife had actually cheated on him for 4 years early on, and his first 2 children aren't his. This all happened because the kids took a DNA test, the Ancestry.com, for the fun of it, and lo and behold, his whole life is gone to hell in a handbasket. And big shout out to Ash for sending me that story. And what we're doing here, guys, is going to be doing part 2 or a series of updates of what happens with this guy. Because this guy's whole life is just a roller coaster now of emotions and turmoil. You're going to see he's going through this whole thing of considering ending his own life, to just disappearing, going on road trips, thinking about quitting his job because he's just sick and tired of that grind, getting back to his wife, staying with his wife, ditching his wife. It's a never-ending cycle. And it's really sad that this happens to this good guy because he is a good guy. And it goes to show you what the damage that can be caused in marriages. And what happens when somebody keeps it a secret that whole time, and just the lives are destroyed thanks to the cheating and the lies and manipulation. And the sad thing is, this is all too common. If everybody out there took DNA tests, did the Ancestry.com thing, the results out there would probably be staggering as to how many kids weren't really a guy's children. But anyhow, guys, enough of that, and I'm going to get into this. It's a long one, by the way, so bear with me. I could have split this up into multiple videos, but I figured part 2, just put them all together and you guys could enjoy it. So it starts off, he says, I'm surviving. I asked my wife to come back after about 10 days. Our 33rd wedding anniversary is tomorrow. We're all like zombies these days. I don't know how to process this. I'm not seeing a therapist or anyone right now. I've confided in a few people, but don't really have a very close confidant. My wife has served that role for the last 33 years. Dude, don't take her back after all this. No. But you're going to see, guys, this is going to be a roller coaster of things. So before you guys start jumping through your skin saying, what, that's it, he's taking her back, I'm done, I'm not going to watch the rest of the video, just watch the video. This is a whole roller coaster of emotions. Obviously, I didn't off myself and had decided not to no matter what. Good. It's not worth it, brother. I had that all worked out. I even investigated all the legalities and insurance loopholes of what offing yourself means as life insurance, pension, death benefits, etc. It would all be covered. My wife and children would still get the benefits that they would get if I died of natural causes. His wife shouldn't get 1 penny of that. His kids, yes. The relationship is different with my daughters and I. We all proclaim our love and that I'm still their dad constantly, but it seems like we're trying to convince ourselves of that as much as anyone else. It is still different now, and I don't know if I can ever be the same. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I can never be the same. He's never going to be the same. He's never going to look at his kids the same. His whole life is not the same anymore, this poor guy. Of all the damn things to trip up my wife's secret, a silly Ancestry DNA test. She was going to take this secret to the grave. According to her, and that the only other human being that knew, her sister, this had haunted her for decades. So her sister knew. Her sister knew all this time what she did. She knew what she was risking losing, and once it was over, the fog had cleared, and she knew how stupid, selfish, and immature she had been. She's the baby of her family. She was daddy's girl and very spoiled when we first got together. Well, that says a lot. The baby, usually the youngest, is the little hellion, hellraiser, spoiled brat. Right there. The other man's family has been informed. We, the daughters and I, felt that since they are his bloodline, that his family should know. Yeah, they should know, and the girls, for maybe health reasons at least, ought to know who their family is. And maybe a little twisting of the knife, given that guy, he's dead now, but at least his memory can be tarnished because he's a piece of shit. Needless to say, there were some very shocked people on their side. Welcome to the club. My daughters have been introduced to some of his half-siblings they never knew that they had. They're good girls and constantly shower me with, "You're my dad forever, I love my papa," and all that. And I do appreciate that, but it's not the same. It just isn't. They aren't my flesh and blood. They never were. These days, my wife is the one that's thinking about offing herself. Oh well. She's crushed that this caught up with her. She really hoped to take it to the grave, as was willing to accept and internalize the guilt and shame as her penance and punishment for what she did. What a load of crap. I don't buy that for a second. For years, she said that you're too good for me. Why are you so good to me? I don't deserve you. She'd also say things like, I'm a shitty person, and I don't know why I was blessed with a husband like you. I don't deserve you. She's one of these people that thinks that she's shit, and I'm sure beforehand she thought that, and therefore would probably be with guys like the other guy that treat her accordingly. That's what people do. And guys that treat them well, they then can't figure out, like, you're too good to me, or I don't deserve you, or something like that. They actually lose respect for guys that treat them well because deep down they think they're garbage, which, well, they usually are. An amazing wife and mother that absolutely did deserve a good husband that treated her well. One of my primary missions in life was to be the husband she deserved. Well, you were great to her and she didn't deserve it. My own career has been limited over the years because I decide young that my family always comes first. Smack. Well, that's a partial smack. That's a smack for making her come first, but not the kids. I mean, I get him doing things for the kids. I'm all for that. But one shouldn't have to suffer to make the kids happy. A man needs to have his purpose and grind and put himself first. Now, take care of the family, but you get my point. If a promotion meant more hours at the office, then I didn't want it. Smack. That's stupid. Especially when the kids got older. Come on. I turned down several much high-paying jobs because they had 25 to 50% travel requirements. We were never rich or even well off, but we had enough to pay our bills and spend a lot of time together as a family. That is what is important to me. My family means more to me than anything. It's a huge cosmic kick in the nuts that this family I cherish more than anything was not 100% legit. That's the thanks he gets from all those sacrifices for her and the family, and I guarantee a majority of it was for her. Guys, never put all your dreams and goals aside for another woman. Never do that. Number one, you're robbing yourself of your potential. Number two, she is not going to respect you for it. He says, my two daughters that were the apples of Dad's eyes aren't my kids. Now that I reflect back on those things my wife said, I know it was her guilt that she had done such a horrible thing, but still had a good family life. A husband and children that adored her and thought the world of her. Now those things she say make sense. It wasn't a mistake, as in one thing. This was 4 years of lying, cheating, manipulating, all that. And then another 33 years they're married, so another 29 years of lying to him and the kids. She's awful. Kick her to the curb. Divorce her, even though he'll take a hit. Fine, at least he's rid of the bitch. She's offered to do anything I ask and is doing all kinds of research on what to expect and how to help heal the family. Good luck, she's not going to do that. She's going to go to a therapist to help her deal with these enormous tons of guilt and shame that has now come to the surface and is crushing her. She can barely look at our kids in the eye. They held her in very high regard. We all did. I can see the pain. Not just the pain of getting caught and how it affects her, but the pain of true remorse and knowing what she has done to us. Maybe she's putting on a giant act. I mean, she's put on a giant act for 30 years. I just have no sympathy for her. None. Some people may think I'm being too harsh. I don't care. We start talking about the affair. It's tough because we both break down emotionally. Both of our hearts are broken. Anyway, we got married young, 19 years old. Smack. That's stupid. Yes, it's not like it is today, but still 19 years old. What life experience do you have? What? Your love is going to make things better and get you through the tough times? Look what happened. We had our first child at 21. Smack. Well, you didn't have your first child at 21. She had some other dude's child. We became husband, wife, and mom and dad very young, and that was who we were. She was always a great mother and wife. Well, no, she wasn't. She says she was still so young and very spoiled, selfish, and had a sense of entitlement, and had some resentment that she was off the market at 21 as a wife and mother, even though all her friends were still out there getting all kinds of attention from guys and sowing their wild oats. Now we're getting somewhere. She didn't get all that attention and validation. She wanted to keep it up, so she had to get it through the neighbor. See? Even though this was decades ago, female nature doesn't change. If she was that resentful that she had to give that up, so to speak, then she shouldn't have gotten married so young. End of story. She's got no one to blame but herself. No one obviously forced her to get married so young. So there you go. And I guarantee the guy she was cheating with, she probably wanted him, but he wasn't having it. So then she just settled for this guy because this guy obviously would be a great family man, father, provider, all that. Guaranteed. And it doesn't say how the other guy died. Was he a thug? Was he a hoodlum? I don't know. Something she felt she had cheated herself out of, but didn't regret marrying me that young because she loved me with all her heart and didn't want to lose me. Sure. She said neither of them ever even once talked about leaving their families to be together. They were each other's escape from the routine of family life. She tells me that she knows her words don't mean shit to me, and that she's a liar, and that did a horrible thing. Things for 4 years. But if I'll really listen to anything, then I need to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that her heart has only ever belonged to the one person in her life and still does, and that's me. Yeah, because she's in her 50s and there's pretty much no guy's going to want her aside from a hookup if she's still good looking. So of course she's going to say all this now. Come on. She says she's never regretted being my wife and mother to our kids, and that has been the joy of her life. She says there's no way she can magically fix this, and if she can go back in time and talk to her younger self, she'd tell her, don't do this horrible thing. What you think is harmless could ruin your life. Again, it ain't a thing, it's things. And the younger self would probably say, F off. She keeps telling me it was stupid. It was 100% her fault. She was stupid, selfish, immature, and did a horrible thing to me and our family. Things, 4 years. She said I didn't deserve it, and if I can't be married to her anymore, that it would kill her, but she would understand and only want the best for me. Bull crap. If he changed his mind and said, that's it, I'm not thinking about it anymore, we're done, she would then give him the divorce from hell. She wouldn't make it easy for him. That's the best thing she could do to him to try to make up for what she did, is give him the most amicable, easy divorce possible. That's the way she could thank him, and leave him alone and let him heal, whatever, as best he could. That's the best thing she could do. She said whether we stay married or not, she will love only me until her last breath. Yeah, and she'll lie through her teeth till her last breath. She had some very meaningful talks with her sister when she was staying with them, and her sister told her that she was a huge spoiled brat back then, and that she's seen her grown into a wonderful woman over the years. But it was time to face the music, be 100% honest about everything, and throw herself on the mercy of the court. She has been doing that. Something tells me she's a spoiled brat still. One thing bugging me is that people that know, including my wife and children, are treating me like a man that's just got a terminal cancer diagnosis. They're really sorry and don't know what to do or say, so they're overly sympathetic to me. I understand. I wouldn't know what to say to someone in this position. Yesterday, my wife asked if I ever wanted to acknowledge our anniversary. She said she'd do something nice for me if I would allow it, but she's totally understandable if I don't want to recognize it. What is she going to do to make up for this current situation, something really nice for him? She better get some knee pads out and get ready to do a lot of sausage smoking. That's a start. I said, don't be silly. We're going to our favorite Mexican restaurant like we've done for years. Smack. What the hell are you doing hanging out with her? We still made it to 33 years. We just have a new life challenges to figure it out, which we will. This brought a short and quick smile to her face and made her cry. She sobbed uncontrollably is more like it. She does that a lot these days. Her sister has told me to knock that off, which she's trying to do. Her sister's telling her to knock it off. Her sister knows that she's putting on a freaking act. These gals can get Oscars and Golden Globes and Emmys and whatever you call it. Those awards for their performances. It's amazing. He says, so here's the deal. I've had time to digest this whole thing, and I've done nothing but think about it over and over. Looking at it from every angle. Studied all the little pieces. I've considered everything, and that has happened and all the possible outcomes. What she did all those years ago was very stupid, selfish, cruel, heartless, bad thing. What she did breaks my heart like it's never been broken. But my heart will heal. Life is full of joy and pain. This is a time of pain, but there will be joy again. I try to be a strong person. I've had my time to lament all this and examine it every way. I know my course of action and will not waver on it. Tomorrow night before dinner, I'm going to tell my wife that she's been a wonderful wife to me and mother to our children. Smack! No, she hasn't. Guys, don't leave now. This isn't the end of the story. This is just how he's feeling in the moment. I couldn't ask for a better partner in life to share the joys and endure the hardships with. As she has told me, I will tell her my heart has belonged only to her since the day I met her at our after-school part-time job in a local retail store when we were 17 years old. I've also loved her and still love her. Every day I thank God that she's in my life and my wife even now. Smack. He needs me to jump in and slap the shit out of him. Are you kidding me, dude? What's going on here, guys, is his world's turned upside down. Anybody who's been through this shit knows. And there's times he's hating her. There's times he's thinking, give her a second chance. What he's doing now is pretty much, I don't want my life to end, so I'm going to essentially try to block it out and act like it didn't happen and move on. But you're going to see that's not realistic. It says here, tomorrow night I'm going to tell my wife that I forgive this foolish thing and that aside, and she's been the finest wife and mother to children that a man could ever ask for in his life. Smack. That's a little bullshit. We will have a good cry and hug and comfort each other. Then we will go to dinner and maybe go to see the new version of A Star is Born and have a wonderful anniversary. This story is from a few years ago. I will love, honor, and cherish my wife as I have for 33 years, as she has for me. Are you sure about that, bro? I will love my kids as I always have since the day they were born. I'll be strong and the leader of my family for any of them that need to cry about all this. Talk about this or whatever, but I will not speak of it again. I know what happened. I can't change it. We will survive it together. I refuse to let this tear us apart. She caused this to tear you apart. I get he's feeling this and doesn't want to. I get he wants to go back to his life being what it was and kind of forget about this whole thing, which you can see that's not going to happen. She was an awful wife, awful mother, because she knew about this all this time and lied and did that for 4 years. It wasn't a one-time mistake. And I guarantee after this whole Oscar-worthy performance she's doing, she's going to lose respect for him. She may be fearful of ever cheating on him again because he may this time leave her and because she's in her 50s and no longer desirable, but come on. As I was to say at 51 years old, I think we may just have grown up. This has been a gut-wrenching experience, and I'm sorry for everyone that goes through something similar. It hurts. I'm the last person to give advice on it, but I'd encourage any of you to not let it destroy you, and as I considered doing in the beginning. Be strong and good luck. Now, we're going to get on to part 3 and part 4, where you're going to see that things take a turn when he starts to wake up and realize that, wait a second here, I can't let this go. I can't pretend that this is... But his back and forth, that's normal for people to feel that way. But staying with her, I get him saying, what happened in the sense that my kids, who I raised, I love them regardless, and I'm going to be their dad and everything. But with her, no freaking way. This just says she gets away with it. End of story. Now, part 3 is when he's starting to do the soul searching and time to do some road trips to get away from it all. And you're going to see how this is just, well, you'll see. Part 3. I think I've gone crazy and have no one to talk to. I have a long backstory. You can check my history. We've been trying to get past this. This last Saturday, I drove past a Chevy dealership. For no reason at all, I stopped. An hour later, I had traded my old Camry for a 2018 Camaro ZL1. I always wanted a badass car, never owned one. My wife was happy for me. I love this car. So all of a sudden now, it's like, shit. Trades in the family mobile and gets himself a badass Camaro. Not that I have no problem with that, but him doing that shows there's a lot going on the inside. That's not the news, though. This morning, I was in a meeting at work. The VP of Financial Ops was being his usual a-hole self. He always gives my department an extra load of crap. I've sat through 1,000 of these meetings. About 30 minutes ago, I had an overwhelming urge to leave. I got up and walked out. I got my car and left. I started driving west. I must have gone for a few hours, and I'm a couple hundred miles out. I'm heading to California. I've always wanted to live there, but life didn't make that doable. Well, I was sure as hell wouldn't live in California, especially now. No offense to the California brothers out there, but I think many of you can understand why I had that opinion. I haven't left my wife. Smack. I don't know what I'm doing. I just know I love this car and I'm going to California. I hate my job. I'm not going back there again. I don't know what I'll do when I get to California. Maybe I'll send for my wife, maybe not. I don't know what I'm going to do right now, but I'm aware that I feel awesome. I haven't felt this good in a long time. This guy is losing it. I got no problem with him buying a new car, but he suddenly just walks out of a meeting from his job, which he needs to pay the bills and take care of things, and he's just walking out and just getting in a car and just leaving to California. I agree this guy needs to get away, but do it in a planned manner. You can't just, unless you got plenty of dough set aside, just quit your job and walk away, you know. I mean, that's going to impact, even if he gets fired, which he probably would, then when he wants to get something else, that's not going to, a very good track record here. You can see this is why this guy needs probably some therapy. Therapy is not always the option, but in this case he does, to work things out so he doesn't do anything rash, which is what he's doing. He says, is this some type of nervous breakdown euphoria? Yes. I don't feel like I'm going crazy. On the contrary, I feel inexplicably coherent and lucid right now. All I know is I'm going to San Diego. 2,275 miles to go. I finished lunch and I'm heading back out. Thanks for letting me get this out. There's no one in my life I could discuss this with. I'm sorry I've let anyone down. I try to be strong and I will be. I just need to go. Now, in the comment section for this little update, he has all these updates from like New Mexico and I think Texas and Oklahoma. He's doing a full road tripping thing, which I'm cool with him doing, to get out and get away and figure things out. But the way he's doing it, the rash, walk out of the meeting, buy the new car, all that stuff like that. Hey, maybe I'll go to California. Maybe I'll send for the way. This guy's losing it. In the manner which he's doing it, he's definitely, he needs some help here. He's got a lot of internal turmoil going on, and it's not being resolved. Next update, he says, I haven't been on Reddit for quite a while. I apologize for not updating sooner, but there's always been so many changes in my life in the last few months. In a way, I don't even remember who I was or what I felt like before this happened. See what I'm talking about, guys? It's like I do remember, but it seems so long ago. I'm a different person now, and I don't think I can ever go back to who I was. See? And again, I get having a bit looking at life and saying, changes got to be made. I'm tired of all the BS from before. I got no problem with that. But this isn't who he is. It really isn't. And he's still with the wife. And who caused all this? He needs to get rid of the one who's caused this big mess. Who I used to be was shaped in a large part around my marriage, which was the biggest part of my life. Now I don't know what to think of that. Anyway, of course I traveled back home. I had a blast in California. I met a lot of interesting people and talked to some very pretty women around my age. I was able to really let go of this crazy situation for a while and exist as a different person. I called my boss and was able to take leave. Now they know what is going on, which I hate. But at least them knowing has made me more willing to give me the time I need to deal with it. Well, thank the Lord he called his boss and he didn't get fired. I'm kind of amazed he didn't. The last thing he should do is throw away. I mean, if he wanted to change jobs, no problem, no big deal. But don't just do it until you have something else lined up. I mean, he still knows, he's still 51 years old. He's got working years left. I'm sure statistically, as most Americans are, if he said he wasn't rich and he had 3 kids, he definitely needs to work until retirement to be able to take care of himself when he no longer can work. So he's losing it. It boils down to her. I still have the Camaro. It's sitting outside my office right now. I love that car and I drive it too fast everywhere I go. I realize I hate my career. I thought I loved it before, but I think I loved it, the life it provided for my wife and her family. I really no longer care about that life very much. When you remove it, I start seeing a lot of things differently. I don't want to work for other people anymore. I'm planning my exit strategy. I have a great retirement account. Well, that's good. Even if I have to surrender half to my wife, if it comes to that, I'm still be fine. Aha, now he's starting to think about maybe ending with her. See, I'm talking about the roller coaster, guys? I'll be fine. I want to do something else. I'm thinking about opening a bar or diner in a very hip part of town. I'll come back to that later. I'm actually pretty good at cooking for large groups and love to do it. I do it a lot of different types of burgers, tacos, fajitas, etc. Perfect bar food. That's just an idea. We'll see. I'm all for him doing career change if he can and doing something that makes him happy as long as he's being paid well. But to just quit his job and start a business when he has no business experience whatsoever and go into restaurant business, which overwhelmingly they all fail, bad idea. Don't risk your retirement money and all that to do something like that. As for my wife, I'm back home, but I don't act husbandly with her. I'm not mean to her, and we are currently still married. But I just don't care. Remember the guy who said, I'm going to let this go and move on and love her and all that stuff? Now he says, I don't care. See what I'm talking about, guys? I lost my ability to care about her like a husband cares for a wife, and I can't get it back. My existence there is pleasant enough. I do whatever I want, when I want, and check with no one. She tries to let me know her comings and goings, but I tell her that's not necessary. She's being very pleasant around me and is so ashamed of herself. I can tell. I think something she valued in our lives is how much respect I had for her. I did. I had more respect for my wife than any other human being I had in my life. Well, that was a big part of the problem. Now I feel no respect for her at all. None. It's like she erased the biggest and best thing that happened in my life up to this point, my marriage. So, end it. Until he gets away from her, until he ends it, he's going to have this never-ending turmoil. See, guys, what the damage has done here? It is to cut her loose. But obviously, he no doubt stayed in it for the kids, trying to hold on to what was there. But you all heard earlier in this video how he was going to give it a second chance and forget it all. He can't do that. You know, that's nice to in here you want to fix it, but you can't fix things in here. And all these rash things he's doing, it's bad. He can then really get into some kind of accident or Lord knows what. He says, of course, everyone gives me advice. Go to marriage counseling. It was so long ago. Don't ruin the best thing in your life because of a stupid mistake she made long ago. Smack. That's bullshit. It's her fault. The guy's torn apart. He's never going to forget this. He's never going to let this go. The sooner he ends it with her and gets the divorce and move on, then he can start to heal. Blah, blah, blah. Literally everyone in my life has an opinion on how I can heal and what I should do. To be honest, I don't know what the future holds, and right now, I don't care. It's pleasant at the house. No, it's not. Don't try to convince yourself of that. I moved to the finished basement, and I come and go as I please. My wife doesn't bother me, pressure me, or give me any type of shit at all. I think she's just thankful I'm still here. I think she thinks as long as I'm still at home and I haven't filed for divorce, that maybe we may get through this. I have no answers to that, and that doesn't bother me at all. When the answer or the path forward becomes clear to me, then I'll act. But two things I know for sure. Number one, I'm not going to rush myself. And number two, I'm going to live for me and do what I want to do. No one will influence whatever I do in the future but me. Well, good for him. And that's how all guys should be, whether they are single or married. Problem is, guys don't do that usually. Of course, I love my daughters, and the relationship with all the kids are still solid. That's good. None of this was any of their fault. I just joke with them now that I have counted on one of them to give me a kidney one day if I needed one, but I guess only my son can do that. I love to say nothing has changed between us, but I'd be lying. It feels different for all of us. It'll never be how it was, but we'll figure it out. That's kind of where I am. It's Friday afternoon at 3:30 and I'm taking the weekend off. Should the department head bail at 3:30? Nope. That looks bad. Do I give a shit? Nope. By the way, I also wear jeans and Skechers shoes to work every day now that I was a suit-wearing executive, and all the other directors still are. Do I give a shit what they think about me? Nope. Not in the least. It's comfortable, so that's how it is. He says, thoughts of offing myself are long gone for those who asked. I do feel much better these days, just very different. Everyone have a great weekend? I know I will because I make my own fun now. So guys, that is the end of that guy's story. I wish there was other things, but there's not. But the point of this whole thing is this awful thing that happened, this crazy thing that happened is this type of thing happens. And it's amazing what is revealed from these Ancestry tests. I got to tell you, I've never taken these tests, and to be perfectly honest, I don't know if I ever want to take one, knowing these stories now, because I thought I was going to do it for fun. Now I'm like, I don't know about that. I shit you not. But you see, guys, how the roller coaster of emotions this guy's going through. What he should have done is what deep down internally he wanted to do originally, and I don't mean offing himself, is they split and divorce. This guy needs some therapy. Therapy's not always the answer. This guy does, to work the shit on the inside and divorce. He's staying at home because he doesn't know what to do. He probably doesn't want to disappoint the kids, even though technically two of them aren't his. And she's just playing along with it because she doesn't want to lose him. This guy should cut all ties, do a divorce. She should give him a very easy divorce, at the least of what she can do, and he can move on. And then work where he wants to work, enjoy his life the way he wants to. But to stay with her, bad idea. Very, very bad idea. He's never going to trust her. He's never going to let this go. I really wish there were updates to find out the final thing, but who knows what God, I certainly hope he didn't off himself. Because you don't know what happens here. But anyway, guys, that'll be a very good one to cover here about how things are today, the DNA test, the revelations, all that. And Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0 world. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below and what you think about